Okay, we're ready.
All righty, thank you. All right, good evening, everyone, again. I would like to call the meeting of the Hammond Redevelopment Commission to order on this Tuesday. It's September 15th, 2020. It is now 4:39. If you can just take a moment of silence here. All right. I guess we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance too. I see that's on there. It hasn't always been on Zoom, so if Commissioner Myers, could you lead us then, please?
You're okay.
I won't do it
I
again.
pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. All right, let's have a roll call on tonight's commissioners.
Merrick,
Here.
Soto Presley. Soto Presley,
She's muted.
Here I am. Sorry.
Casper Zicki,
Here.
Myrick,
Here.
Helpridge,
Here. For the record, all five are present tonight. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Okay, number 4, communications.
Members of the commission, we received a request via email for the use of a redevelopment on property. It was from No Limit Auto Sale. No Limit, it's from J.R. Romero, the president of No Limit Indiana chapter. It's for the No Limit Auto Show 2020. The No Limit Club motto, put the guns down and look what I can do. The proposed date and time is Sunday, October 11th, 2020. 10 to 5 p.m. and the proposed location is 312 Sibley Street, which is the vacant lot or the event space in downtown Hammond on Holman and Sibley. It reads as follows: to whom it may concern, with the majority of our club members being residents of Hammond and being car enthusiasts, we are requesting to host an auto show and highlight what our city can offer. We would like to further Hammond with the car scene that our surrounding cities have already established. The No Limit Auto Show would include trophies and awards for custom vehicles, games for kids, 4 barbers giving free haircuts for children, music, foods, and drink and raffles. We plan to be on site for setup at 8 a.m. and cleanup time from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. In the event that the weather does not permit the show, we would reschedule for the following Sunday, October 18th, 2020 at the same times. With the expected number of attendees, we will have Hammond Police Department on site. Our goal is to have a positive turnout so that we'll be able to host annual shows. No Limit was founded on the idea of peace, family values, and a way to keep our youth safe. We would be proud to showcase this same idea with our city, and it's sincerely J.R. Marrero, president of No Limit Indiana chapter. As I stated, this was received. He does apologize for the lateness in his submission, but he said he wants to have an adequate, they, I guess, just finalized all the particulars with the actual event, and they want to have enough time to advertise the event. So that's why they are seeking approval from this body on today, and then it could be forwarded to the Hammond Board of Public Works.
Is that for October of this year or next year?
Of this year,
2020.
October 11, 2020. It's a Sunday.
Okay, so is that going to be with limited attendance and social distancing observed and masks and all that, or?
He did not say anything about that. He did not. The only thing he mentioned was that the only thing that says is that he will have a police presence.
It sounds like he's run car shows before. He's talking about setup and cleanup on his dime. My question would be, from our side, do we need to require an insurance rider or a binder of any kind regarding our liability?
We typically have like a license agreement where they have to name us as an additional insured, and we've done it in the past when people have used our property.
I'm all for this myself personally.
I'm all for this activity too, but you know, I'm also for following rules
Oh, of course.
and observing social distancing and wearing the masks. I don't want a bunch of people showing up and having someone possibly show up with COVID and spreading it. So what type of uh
We don't know, Marion.
huh?
We don't know.
Okay, so do we approve this before we know, or
Can we approve it with those following stipulations?
I mean, there's all kinds of events and things that have been canceled for an entire year just based on this pandemic that's happened. You know, and I mean, I'm sure more than 20 people are going to show up.
Oh,
Because
I'm sure.
The only thing I would say is we're not sponsoring the event. We're just allowing them to use our property. So I don't know if that's our jurisdiction to tell them how to do it.
who has the authority to do that?
Well, like I say, we're not running the event. We're just, the question here is, can they use our property? I mean, the question before us as a board is, can they use our property?
Okay.
It
That's
has to
correct.
go before the Board of Works too, so we can always ask the Board of Works or ask the guy to say something to the Board of Works of how they're gonna do social distancing,
Well,
because they get the final approval.
yeah, I mean, I know that all they wanted to do was use the property, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the social distancing and the masks and everything, because this whole thing has hit my family personally very hard.
Mine as well.
And I know how it could take people out. So I just
Well, what-
want to make sure that I go on record as to mentioning it.
Well, what I can do, Commissioner, is when I follow up with him, I can let him know that this was, it was a concern of the commission as far as in light of the fact that we have a pandemic going on, you know, that you inquired about what precautions are in place for, you know, social distancing, for the basic, just protection of the participants of this event and everyone that attends. Now, the only challenge that I would see is if you approve it, then, you know, depending on what he says, it's already approved unless it gets denied at the Board of Works level.
Which we can ask the Board of Works to ask that question too.
So would that not be the socially responsible thing to do? I mean,
That would be a question for our attorney.
I don't think it's funny, but I'm just saying, whose responsibility is it to ask that question?
I mean, if you would like, I definitely can let him know because the correspondence was sent to my department to forward to the Redevelopment Commission for approval. So what I can do is I will follow up with him and let him know that this was a concern of the board. And I would like to know any information he has regarding social distancing, even though the event is taking place outside and some of the guidelines are not totally lax, but a little bit more lenient when they're outside. We can say that it is a concern of this board. So we want to know what precautions are being put in place if they are going to use our property.
And maybe not a good time to bring this up, but isn't the weekend before or somewhere in there the pop-up art event that we've already approved?
That is the weekend before, but they are adamant about social distancing. And I think Attorney Westland wanted to say something.
No, I mean, if you're inclined to give this approval, then my suggestion would be that you approve it conditioned on the fact that they follow CDC guidelines, number one, and number two is that they enter into a license agreement that covers insurance and things like that.
I agree with your suggestion. I think that's a good one, personally.
I mean, they're supposed to follow CDC guidelines anyway, right? Like, so that shouldn't be a new one. And the state of Indiana's guidelines pretty much follow them. So
That's correct.
I so move.
Second.
All right, we have a motion then and a second. Is there any further questions or?
Did Marion second that? I'm sorry.
I did.
Greg did.
Kathy.
Greg did.
Okay, Cap.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Or is there any other questions for Attorney Westland on that? Okay, then roll call.
Merrick,
Yes.
Sutter Presley,
Yes.
Kasperziki,
Yes.
Uh,
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 5, I don't think we had any minutes. I didn't see anything in my packet. Is that correct?
nope, no minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, number 6, homebound conditional forgivable loan. Forgivable loan, yes. Looks like we have 3 applicants.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval for the homebound conditional forgivable loan program for the 3 applicants: Nancy Rosado, 7343 Missouri Avenue, Martin D. Hoyas and Marsha Gonzalez, 903 171st Street, and Christy Potts, 6841 Northcott.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the homebound conditional forgivable loan. Can we get a roll call on that?
Merrick,
Yes.
Sutter Presley,
Yes.
Kasperziki,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Number 7, roof conditional loan approval. We have 2 applicants. There should be 2 things in your packet on their property and pictures of their house.
I like that the questions that we would normally ask them, they've already put in a statement. That they understand that the contract is between them and whoever their contractor is. The Hammond Redevelopment Commission only provides the funds and yada, yada, yada. So I do like seeing that in there, since we can't ask them personally.
Yeah, well, good point, Commissioner Myrick. I agree with you.
I agree. I believe Ms. Lewis, the loan officer, does a very good job of explaining what their responsibilities would be.
Good time to get a roof too, before the winter.
Well, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the roof conditional loan for the 2 applicants.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. That's for the roof conditional loan for the 2 applicants. Can we get a roll call, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Sutter Presley,
Yes.
Kasperziki,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. All right, number 8 is approval of amendment number 1 to the October 7th, 2019 supplemental letter agreement.
Members of the commission, if you look in your packet, you will find an amendment number 1 to the October 7th, 2019 supplemental letter agreement from SEH Indiana. I do have Dan Bowditch on the call today, on the Zoom meeting today. Basically, the amendment shows that they charged more than actually a little bit more because they did have an increased amount of work that was unexpected that went outside of their contract, the amount that was approved for their contract. They had a couple of really big items that they helped us with that we really are grateful for. The Gateways Redevelopment Plan and Allocation Area Modification and the State Line Allocation Area Pruning and Expansion Action, as well as the potash tax appeal. So those were very time consuming. They had to do a lot of background work regarding that. So that was a lot of additional work that wasn't originally in their scope of work. So it did go over. So there is an amendment. And as I stated, Dan Bodish from SEH is on the Zoom meeting today if you would like to ask him any questions or get any further explanation from Mr. Bodish.
See, the increase is 35,000 or 39,000?
I believe
Yes, sir.
so.
Yes, it is. Yes. The total
And,
amount of work, Commissioner, was $40,737.78. But there was a little bit left in the, there was a balance remaining in our not to exceed amount. So in order to tie it out to zero, it's a request for $39,560.30. Additionally, I wanted to make sure, and I went to at lengths in my discussions with Ms. Tarver, I wanted to make sure that I outlined why there was a cost overrun and detail where the projects where the cost was associated with projects. So that's why the long letter and the detail. I wanted to be fully transparent on why the cost overruns occurred and where they occurred.
We definitely appreciate your transparency.
I don't question the work done or any part of it, but isn't this where we should have been notified, where we get the classic, my favorite change order? Or is there a percentage allowed for this? And again, I don't have a problem with work being done. I'm just curious.
Well, Dan, you're welcome to step in at any point in time. Some of these, a lot of times what will happen is he may start doing some work for us, and then he has to dive a little deeper because we find something that requires more time, more background. So as I stated, some of these that came up were not expected at all, like the issue with potash, the state line allocation area. Actually, that was a situation that he helped us with tremendously. That was a substantial cost savings for the city of Hammond. So we definitely appreciate that. And the Gateways redevelopment plan and allocation area modifications was something that came along later as well.
Again, I believe the due diligence and they're all valid. And I don't even know what the percentage is on this one, but I'm just curious about the timeline and that we're following procedure as we should as a board, our fiduciary responsibility. That's my only question.
So Commissioner, if I may respond to that question, Kaspersky.
Yes, sir.
I did have a conversation with Ms. Tarver in February that we were reaching our not to exceed amount and that we were we were close. Usually when it gets to be about 80%, I will notify our clients. That's across the board, just in case, no matter what the time frame is in any agreement that I have with a client. But in this case, I did sit with Ms. Tarver in February, and it was about at about 80%. And then by about April, it was about 95%. And that's where it was COVID. And then we got caught in the whole COVID issue of, were there going to meetings, were there not going to be meetings? Plus we had the work to do, and it got to a head at the end of the year. And it's just coming before the board now because I submitted it to Africa in about mid to late July. And then it was probably mid-July. And then it came a discussion of, because of the amount or excess, Miss Africa Tarver did ask that I go into detail and very much comprehensively explain where the overruns were by project and explain. So that's why it took a little while to get the letter. But it was partly COVID and partly just making sure that we were fully transparent in the exercise to make sure. Because I am in the same position, I would consider myself in the same position of you as commissioners. I tried to answer the questions I would ask if I were presented this information.
Again, I'm not questioning the validity of it. I'm questioning our authority as a board. Are we setting precedent by doing this for other projects, or not even SEH involved? And if there's no problem with it, I actually don't have a problem with it at all. I'm just curious. I just want to make sure that we are following our fiduciary responsibility as a board.
Commissioner, I definitely understand where you, I definitely see it from your point of view. I think as Mr. Bowditch has stated, first, a lot of the contracts or crossover runs are handled on a case-by-case basis. But also, as he stated, COVID was an extenuating circumstance that none of us was really anticipating. And so what I do appreciate is that in light of COVID, they kept working because these were some projects that had to move ahead and time was of the essence with them. So definitely this is a situation that in light of COVID, it probably, you would have received information a lot sooner. But we had an issue with we definitely had an issue with having meetings and as well as getting all the information, because I did want him to get all the information to explain all the cost overruns.
And Commissioner, it's atypical to the past. If this has happened, we would have requested an amendment usually shortly thereafter, identifying that we were at 95% of our not to exceed amount. And at that point, what we normally would do is submit a cash or a professional service projection of what it would take for the next 2, 3, 4, whatever the number of months would be. But in this case, because of COVID, there were some instances where there were no meetings, but I did keep Ms. Tarver I was in communication with her the entire time.
And again, I trust that you did, and I'm not trying to stall this. I mean, can we approve it with a COVID asterisk or whatever the case might be? I just, I don't want at the next meeting something coming up and saying, well, you did it for SEH. That is more of my worry than in any part of this project. I don't question for a minute that you were in communication with Ms. Tarver and that it needed to be done, and COVID is the strangest of times. I just want to make sure we're, when we all say yes to this, that we're doing the right thing. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't know.
All right, is there any further questions or discussion? If there isn't, then if someone like to entertain a motion, I think
Mr.
yes,
President?
legally.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of amendment number 1 to the October 7th, 2019 supplemental letter agreement.
I
Second,
second that.
Okay, it sounds like Greg motion and Kathy second. So we have a motion and a second for the approval of amendment number 1 to October 7th, 2019 supplemental letter agreement. Can we get a roll call on that?
Merrick,
yes.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Casper Zicki,
No.
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes. Motion passes with 4 yes and 1 no.
And just to note,
Okay, thank you.
and just to note, my no vote is only because no one really answered my question. So again, I'm not against the SCH of the project. I just really didn't hear an answer to my future question. So just clarifying.
So if I may, President Hoppridge?
Yes, I'll let you have the floor, but we need to continue though. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Nope.
go ahead. I'm gonna let
So
you.
I was
have
just
the
going to
floor.
ask if the question was that Commissioner Kaspersky had was addressed to me, or was it addressed to the staff? I just wasn't sure.
I believe it was staff or procedure.
I thought your question was answered, and so maybe I just didn't understand the question. Can you, Wally, restate the question for me?
We can move on. It was approved and such, and we can move on. I was just wanted to stipulate why I said no. But yeah, we can move on. I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's fine. Sometimes we're not gonna be unanimously. That's fine. Yeah, let's just move on. All right, number 9's approval of revised quote for security system at 5233 Holman Avenue, which is the hub.
So members of members of the commission, you'll find in your packets a quote from Vermilion Systems, Inc. This quote is for a video surveillance for the 2 buildings, the hub as well as the Innovation Center. As you are aware, you approved HVAC upgrades for both of those buildings. One of the challenges that staff of HGC has noticed is that when the Corellis came back to repair the roof, they noticed that someone had went up on top of the roof and was trying to steal some things. So this is just something that we're putting in place to ensure that someone does not either vandalize or steal something that we've already invested a lot of money in. When we initially had the HVAC systems upgraded, when the repairman went up on the roof, he said some of the flashing was stolen, some of the other things. So somehow people are getting up there. I thought that maybe I don't think it's just someone that happens to be walking downtown, because they would need appropriate equipment to get up there. But this is just a measure that we want to put in place to ensure that the investment that you just made with the HVAC system is secure. There is, I believe there is some type of protective shield over the system, but this is just an additional measure to ensure that there is surveillance in it for the roof. And this was previously $16,000, but we revisited Jen called back and she revisited the quote, and they were able to bring the quote down to $10,443.20 for the 2 buildings. And this will allow staff to remotely view.
Yeah, I agree with it. I've seen units and things have been cut and stolen from roofs and stuff of that nature. You'd be surprised what the average thief will do to do something.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the revised quote for the security system at 5233 Holman Avenue, the hub.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. That's for the approval of revised quote for the security system at 5233 Holman Avenue, which is the hub. Can we get a roll call, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Casper Zicki,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Albrecht.
Yes, motion passes with 5 yes. Okay, number 10 is an approval of Calumet Avenue assignment.
So number 10 and number 12 are the same thing, and I think they just got erroneously listed twice.
Okay.
The property that's at the, excuse me, southeast corner of Calumet Avenue and Africa, help me out, is it 173rd?
175th.
175th. So the southeast corner, as you come off the expressway and head into Hammond on Calumet Avenue, the southeast corner is a fireworks store, and it's actually 4 separate parcels. The assignment is that the lender to that fireworks store obtained a judgment in the amount of $175,000 and change, and was going to go to sheriff's sale for the property, in which case they would credit bid that judgment and then the bank would own it. We got word of that and we had the property appraised. The average of the 2 appraisals was $149,000. So assuming your approval, we are taking what's called an assignment of that judgment and the loan documents from the bank for the sum of $149,000, and then we will take the property through the sheriff's sale process and bid up to the 178, I believe it is, that's owed on a credit bid. So we wouldn't owe any more money. We would just have the sheriff's sale documents, and we would be able then to potentially own that corner, which has been a eyesore and a corner that, you know, is obviously a gateway to the city that we'd be able to redevelop.
Yeah, because I believe it used to be a gas station there too, years ago.
I
Right
believe,
before they built the buffer for the expressway on the south end of that building. But so if we do this, what are the plans for that property?
something other than a fireworks store or a gas station or a liquor store. How about that?
What would stop somebody from outbidding us and putting a fireworks, liquor store, gas station there?
Theoretically, the property is worth $149,000, and now we're going to be the owners of a judgment in the amount of $178,000. So we get to bid all the way to 178. I guess if someone wants to pay $30,000 or $40,000 more than what the property's worth, we really can't stop them.
Right.
And that's not gonna happen.
Well, it certainly,
I don't know. It's a gateway. Yeah.
it does make it probable or likely that we're going to have control of that property.
So this is number 10, or is this number 12, or is it a combination of the two?
It's both. It's got listed twice.
So how do you want us to present this?
Approve the Calumet Avenue assignment on number 10, and then we'll just remove number 12 from the agenda when we get there.
So moved.
I
Second.
second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that's for the approval of the Calumet Avenue assignment. Can we get a roll call then, please?
Merrick,
Yes.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Casper Zicki,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes. Motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 11, approval of letter engagement for Taft Statinius.
Okay, so this is, some of you are familiar with Jimmy Shanahan and his law firm. This is the law firm he's with. Jimmy helped us with the development agreement for the potash incentive. Approximately a year ago, and we're several years into the potash TIF incentive, potash applied for an obscure exemption, which is a fertilizer exemption, which would exempt them from paying a good portion of the real estate taxes they pay, which would obviously have an effect negatively on the payment of the bonds. Additionally, they've appealed their assessment. We don't believe that they're, entitled to either one of them, but the appeal is going to ultimately wind up in the tax court of Lake County, or of the state of Indiana, and it'll be Mr. Shanahan and his partner who will be handling it on behalf of the Redevelopment Commission. It's a pretty specialized area of the practice, and we're recommending that we enter into this engagement letter with that law firm so they can continue to represent us.
I so move.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further questions or discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Merrick, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Kasperziki,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Helpridge,
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. So number 12, we're removing for now, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, that brings us to number 13, our reports. Ms. Africa-Tarva, would you like to share anything tonight?
I would like to share something. I have some interesting news. 18th Street Distillery has waited 2 years for a major announcement concerning their business, and that major announcement will take place on Thursday. So definitely we have some exciting things taking place in the downtown area. It's sort of their spoiler alert. We're really excited. 18th Street has really proven themselves to be a wonderful stakeholder in the downtown Hammond area, as well as the city of Hammond. So just stay tuned for a major announcement on Thursday regarding 18th Street Distillery.
We want to know today.
It will be Thursday, and it's been 2 years in the making.
Okay, Thursday.
Hey, Greg, that's what they call a teaser.
I know what it's called. Who likes to be teased, though, you know?
Keep them guessing, Africa.
Yeah.
Really excited. We're very, very excited. As I stated, they're doing a lot in the downtown area, and they've just really been a good addition to the city of Hammond.
Yes, I agree.
That is all I have.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, that brings us to number 14, bills, register of claims.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the register of claims for August 27th, 2020 through September 10th, 2020 for register of claims 58919 through R59070.
Second?
Okay. We have a motion and a second. That's for our claims. August 27, 2020 through September 10th, 2020, claims R58919 through claim R59070. Is there any questions for staff on these claims? All right, they seem to all be in order, so there's no questions. Roll call then.
Myrick, or Myrick, sorry, keeps doing that.
Yes. Yes.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Kasperziki,
Yes.
Myrick,
Myrick, yes.
Irick, sorry, Helpridge.
Yes, motion passes with 5 yes for the bills, register of claims.
Just so you
All
guys
right,
know, the bills, just so you guys know the bills, a lot of those were the COVID ones that you're seeing there. So the small business ones. So that's why we had so many.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, number 15, doing unfinished business. I don't know, is there anything, Attorney Westland or Africa?
No.
Okay. All right, number 16, public comment. Zoom is open right now. If anybody's out there, you can chime in. Okay, then public comment is closed. I guess number 17.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Can you all signify by aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.
All right, be well, be